yesterday, Skip. I be on these miles of hen dog, and now y'all got problems with me.
Yo. What up? It's your boy Jumpman Jones. You're now live inside a special edition of the Kickin' Shit Podcast. All right, so joining me today is the usual suspects. To my right is the comedian, the funny, the talented. It's your boy Jills, a.k.a. Jelly. Put me on the bread till I'm fed. Young, not bro. Young Picasso. Yeah, Young Picasso. Your motherfucking super, man. It's James the Jellyfish. What's going on, brother?
He is I and I am him.
To my left is my boy. It's my partner. This is my dog. It's Mr. Jukebox Johnny, a.k.a. Crown Daddy, a.k.a. Crown Poppy, or the El Himmy, Poppy, the Avion Don, the Malargo Ho, whichever one of y'all on that night. What up?
What up?
Daddy, are you on the radio?
What's going on?
Straight up.
Killing these damn tags. Nigga been practicing.
Yeah.
Been fucking up all year. Wait till the end of the year to get it right.
Hey, starting 2020. What's the year?
2022.
2022 on the right foot.
2022 on the right foot.
Right.
All right, man. Today, man, we figured that we give y'all an episode to educate y'all on some things that we kind of mentioned on this show, man. Every now and then on this show, you hear us mention cryptocurrency, investing, and NFTs. And NFTs have been the new thing. I know I've been wanting to know about NFTs personally. And so my boy Santana, shout out to him. He hooked me up with a guy named Rich. Rich actually owns owns an NFT company. And so we're going to reach out to him in a minute. And talk to him and get a lowdown on these NFTs. But other than that, how you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
Good, man. You nigga ready to learn about these NFTs, man?
What is an NFT?
Hopefully we figure that out.
We're gonna figure that out. But my basis knowledge is, and this is without me calling him and knowing anything. It's a non-fungible token. It normally is used in the art space on the Ethereum network. Now, what all that means, we'll find out here in a minute.
I hope so.
But that's like my brief on it.
I heard they said MT is like a form of NFT.
I don't know.
Like MT from
just doing my research, I seen that they had this one NFTs called CryptoPunk. And the highest selling one sold for like $7.5 million.
Yeah.
And it's just like a picture of a monkey.
Yeah. And Crypto Thugs. They got Crypto Thugs. You got Apes in Space. Apes in Space is hot.
Oh, I seen that.
Yeah, and I seen theirs. They we're about to interview
and the Deebies. Yeah, I've been
like around $500.
I've been pricing Deebies because I'm looking for one that I actually want.
Yeah, well, it's 0.1 Ethereum. But once they sell out, then they're gonna sell for more because then you can't claim anymore. You're gonna have to, from what I'm doing my research on. If you got a DB, you can resell it.
Man, let me check my shield.
Check your shield. I heard Elon Musk just did some shit and crypto went up.
Oh, word.
What did he do?
Said something about Doge.
He became Person of the Year.
Maybe that's what it was.
He became Person of the Year last year, and Jadakiss, black people didn't agree. Jadakiss was Person of the Year. And when they posted it, I was like, damn, I should have said that on our year-end wrap-up.
You should have, man.
Jadakiss was either real nigga of the year or Person of the year.
And Sherelle said Lil Nas X.
Which I agreed with that.
Yeah.
That had to be like the realest move of the year.
Lil Nas X.
Yeah, here we go. Lil Nas X probably got some NFTs out here. The sparkling NFTs. The bedazzled NFTs.
You stupid.
All right, man.
Rick Ross just did an NFT.
He did. He NFT'd his album.
See, that's what I'm saying. So I guess this is just for like if you got music, you got some type of artwork. I gotta figure out what I'm an NFT. I'm about to NFT these porns. See, here we go.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard. But now I'm about to get him on the phone. It's not
all right,
time.
sure, man. I don't want to waste this time. I know where he at.
Over there.
The sun probably still out. You heard me?
Can y'all hear it? Y'all hear it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Rich homie, baby.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Rich? This is Jumpman Jones. I'm calling you from the podcast, Kickin' Shit Podcast, KSP, man. What's going on?
What's good? I'm chilling, man. It's been a big day of recording, and this is kind of my last stop for the day, and I couldn't be happier to be hanging out, with y'all, talking about NFTs and art and whatever else y'all want to talk about,
Of course, of course. Let me introduce you to the fellas real quick, man. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Cool. All right. On my left side, although you can't see me, but you'll see it when the video drops. It's my boy Jukebox Johnny, man. This is Rich, and Rich also on my right side is my boy James, the Jellyfish comedian. What up?
What up, Rich?
Nice.
What's up?
Hey, man, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, Johnny and James, I like it.
All right,
yeah,
man.
great to meet. And yeah, man, this is cool. I've been checking out what KSP is about, and I gotta say, I really appreciate the thoughtful, the effort that y'all are putting into, making some quality content. And I see what y'all are trying to build, and I dig it, man. I fuck with it. And I apologize. Is this like, can we cuss on this?
Man, all day.
Man.
That's all we do.
Okay.
Some of the stuff we say
never
on
know.
here
Fuck
needs to
that,
be
Rich.
edited.
No, I'm messing with you.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, man, I appreciate y'all having me on, and I like what y'all are doing.
Thanks, man.
No doubt, man. Listen, man, and we I don't even want to skip ahead to what you got going on, because what you got going on is super dope. I want to build up to it, but first, I've already introduced you to the audience. Go ahead and introduce yourself. What you do in the NFT space, and your brand. Like, go ahead, brag on yourself for a minute.
It's not my strong suit. I'm not gonna lie talking about myself, but yeah, man, my name is Gifdead. That's my my metaverse moniker, my experimental artist name. I actually came up with that when I was teaching myself to produce music about 5 years ago. And I was thinking ahead to, like, when our digital lives are becoming more and more valuable, which is, now we're there, right? That's what the metaverse is. What a lot of people think is that it's not a specific place, but it's a time, it's a singularity. When our digital lives become more valuable than our physical lives, right? And so what we're witnessing and what we're talking about here, and what everybody's trying to get a handle on, is literally the fact that we are approaching the metaverse. We are entering into the metaverse. We're into this liminal space where it's like, our digital lives are maybe as important, if not becoming more important than our physical lives. And it's a very strange, surreal thing that we're all kind of experiencing collectively, right? And so, thinking ahead, I was like, I wanted to come up with a brand for myself. And so Gifdead is me, and that's who I am. But I'm the co-founder of the Niftycastle. And so it's niftycastle.io. That's our company. That's our umbrella brand. That's our banner. And I started that with my co-founder, Woboy, in January of this year. So January 2021, when, I finally was persuaded by a friend of mine to get on the Clubhouse social audio app. And immediately when I got in there, I, found the NFT rooms and fell down the rabbit hole. And I knew when I started to get a grasp of the potential and the power of what blockchain technology and NFTs could do to empower artists and creatives, I just knew immediately that this was a place and a space that I wanted to be in. And so, yeah, I hit up my homie Woboy, and I was like, yo, come get into this with me, and let's just start building, and we'll figure it out as we go. And so we started building this community, just totally organically, ground up. On the Clubhouse app, and hosting rooms, supporting artists. It just started as a community of artists supporting other artists, and out of that, we've just built our own boutique NFT studio, if you will. It's kind of that's what it is. We started sourcing artists and ideas from our own community to develop into IP and brands that are native to the crypto and NFT space. So yeah, that's kind of how we got going. And, we've got now what I think is one of the most valuable, niche NFT communities that, not a lot of people know about yet. Cause again, we don't have any Mark Cubans or big backers or any big money investors. It's all community driven. It's all, grassroots, organic. But that's, we like that because we think what we're building long-term is more valuable.
And that's,
so yeah, man.
And that's the Deebies community, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So yeah, so Niftycastle is the banner company, the umbrella, right? And Deebies is our first big IP. It's our first project, right, underneath the Niftycastle banner.
And not to cut you off, explain to our
Mm-hmm.
listeners, because our listeners, we love them to death. But if you like me and anybody else out there, intellectual property, right? That's IP.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yep. So, and that just means a property, right? It's intellectual property, but it's a property. So just like Marvel, owns Iron Man, Iron Man is an IP. That is one of their properties. And so they own the intellectual property and the rights to go and turn that into everything that they want, right? They've got the merchandise rights, they've got the film and TV rights, and they can license that out to other people like Netflix. But they own that property. And so, so Deebies, and that's how we started thinking about the Niftycastle from the jump, right? Like there's a lot of people now that are getting into the space, with a lot deeper pockets than we do per se. People like Tom Bilyeu, who, I got a lot of love and respect for Tom. And, there's people like that are coming in and saying, oh, we're going to create the Disney of the NFT space. But, we really were some of the first people to kind of look at it like that. And that, when we started the Niftycastle, what we imagined and what we're trying to build long term is a destination that bridges both the metaverse and, the real world, where you can go experience all these different rich worlds and characters. Just like when you go to a Disneyland or a Disney World, you go into that destination, but underneath that banner, you've got a bunch of different cool worlds like Star Wars and whatever else that you can go experience. And so that's kind of the big picture idea that we're aiming to build with a Niftycastle. It's a family friendly, inclusive environment where you can experience and explore the potential of NFTs as a new creative medium. And yeah, man, that's the idea. That's the vibe. And so Deebies is our first big IP that we launched a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to take a step back and kind of get into that, because that's a whole massive process in of itself, right? To launch one of these big NFT projects, I think there's a lot of people.
Before you skip ahead, what are the NFTs? Like, what is NFTs? What is that? Break that piece down, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people want to know what the NFTs are in the first place. Yeah,
absolutely. NFT stands for non-fungible token, which just means that they're unique tokens. Fungible means that they can be switched out without any exchange of value. So a dollar bill is actually fungible, right? So if we each have a dollar bill and we trade dollar bills, there was no real value exchange because they're not unique, right? But a non-fungible token means that it is a unique token. It has a unique ID attached to it. And it's actually, it is technology, right? And so I think a lot of people, because one of the primary applications that NFTs are being used for right now is for digital media and art, a lot of people conflate the art with the NFT. So they think that the art is the NFT, but the art and the digital media and the different files that are attached to the token are just the metadata that are attached to it. The actual NFT itself is the serialized token that lives on the blockchain. So it's actually like a piece of code. It's the technology that underwrites those files, right? So yeah, an NFT, to try and put it more simply, is basically just a certificate of authenticity. It's a serial number, right? Mm-hmm. So if you own that NFT, then you own the unique, serial number, the unique ID for whatever is attached to it, whether it be art or music or, in the future, your medical records or a car or a house.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's deep.
That's real deep.
Right. Yeah, because go ahead.
Nah, I was just going, this is Johnny here. Well, why would someone want to own a NFT?
Yeah, that's a big question, right? There's a lot of reasons. For one, they're immutable and they are extremely safe because they can't be forged, they can't be faked, they can't really be stolen unless you make the mistake of somehow exposing yourself to being hacked somehow, right? So because these are unique serial numbers, unique certificates of authenticity, unique IDs, that are written into the blockchain, they're immutable. Like they can't, once they're deployed through a smart contract on the blockchain, you really can't change them. So they can't be forged, they can't be faked, and they're on a public ledger so that you can see exactly where they came from, or the word that, you know, that everybody uses in the blockchain space is provenance. So you can see through the blockchain, which again is a public ledger, and a public ledger that is immutable, cannot be changed or faked. You can see the source, where it originated, where it came from, who's owned it, how much it was bought and sold for. All of this data is public knowledge that cannot be forged or faked, right? So it makes a lot of things much safer, much more efficient. It lets you authenticate and verify very important critical documents, or again, like when I said medical records, I'm not joking. Like already hospitals are implementing and looking to implement blockchain technology for things like medical records, because these are very important critical documents that you need to be able to track and that you don't want to be messing up. And using the blockchain allows you a way to do that cuts out a lot of middlemen, right? It's decentralized. Yes. So that's the other big part of this, right? And what does decentralized mean? That just means that there's no one central authority. Mm-hmm. There's no one bank of information, right? So, you know, Chase is let's just use Chase Bank, right? I'm not trying to pick on them. I use Chase Bank, right? So that's why it's the first one that comes to mind. Chase has a lot of branches and they're all over the world, but they're still very centralized, right? And so at the end of the day, if for any reason Chase went out of business, like that would be a problem for me. The ideal and the idea behind blockchain and why it's so powerful and why people believe in it is that it cuts out the middleman, it's decentralized, and theoretically it can be protected and exist, you know, in perpetuity forever, right? So one of the reasons why you might want to create or buy NFTs is that they are like time capsules. Like these are things in history that once they're written onto the blockchain and deployed, that they can theoretically last forever, as long as they are, you know, properly decentralized and, you know, they're handled a certain way. But that's one of the things that people in the blockchain and NFT space look for specifically when they're looking to buy and invest in different projects is how decentralized is it? Is it truly decentralized, or is it using a more centralized smart contract that only parts of it are centralized? Because anytime that something is centralized, you're actually more at risk than when it's completely decentralized and there's no one central, you know, vector, like attack vector, right? So in blockchains, what that looks like is that there's a bunch of different what are called nodes. And nodes are basically voluntary components of a large computer network, right? So there's all these computers around the world that are basically participating in this large network, backing up and verifying transactions. And so there's no one place that you could attack to take this down.
So therefore that would help. So it cement the NFTs pretty much, keeping them safe. It's not centralized.
Yeah,
now,
exactly. Yep.
Now, is the NFT representative like you got BTCs, you got Ethereum, you got Bitcoin Cash, you got XRP? Is NFT one of those, or is NFT something that is separate from actual cryptocurrency?
So what you just named are examples of cryptocurrencies, right? And so there's a lot of different cryptocurrencies out there, and NFTs are written onto specific blockchains that are those same cryptocurrencies. So they are very much tied together in certain ways, but they're also kind of two separate things that can exist, like, you know, mutually exclusively, I guess you could say. So one important thing to note about, you know, there's a lot of different cryptocurrencies out there. There's actually only about, I believe, like 15 mainnets. And so mainnets are things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, you know, Binance, Litecoin. And then there's all these other cryptocurrencies and coins that are what are called like layer 2s or rollups that are actually built on top of those main nets. So like Solana, I believe, and again, I'm not an expert, so I might get torn up, but so don't quote me on any of this, but I'm speaking from what I understand. Solana is a really popular crypto right now that's starting to be used a lot for NFTs because of some of its capabilities, but it's actually not a main net. It's actually, I believe, built on the larger Ethereum network. So yeah, any NFT that you have is going to be basically an application, like a Web 3.0, which, we can dig into that. You might have started to hear it. Web 3.0 is basically just decentralized internet. It's the future of internet. And so everything that we're doing, the metaverse, trying to develop our NFT projects, it's all moving in Web 3.
Got it.
And so what most NFTs are is they are basically web apps developed for the decentralized internet, which is Web 3, that live on these different blockchains.
Got it.
Right. So when you hear the word smart contract, there's a lot of kind of confusion around what that is sometimes because of the word contract. Right. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting why that word is chosen. Right. Because typically when we think of a contract, we think of something that is a legal document. Right. But smart contracts are not at all legal documents. They're just programming code. They're literally like applications, right? Mm-hmm. So they're just programs. But the reason they're called smart contracts is because, again, if we take a step back, right, I was talking about how these things are basically immutable. Like you can't really change something once it's written into the blockchain. Once it's in the public ledger and it's gone through, the transaction hash has been successfully, validated, and it's written into the blockchain, you can't go back and change that. And so basically when you deploy a smart contract onto a blockchain, it's like you're basically writing a contract because you can't change that, right? So it's like you set up the rules, you code this contract, this smart contract, this program to do the functions that you want it to do. But then once you deploy it, it's kind of like you shake hands, you say, okay, this is it. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's what a smart contract is. It's basically a program that runs on Web3 on these blockchains. I'm not
gonna lie to you, Rich. The Web3 sounds so much like the Matrix. It's almost like the metaverse and the metaverse yep. and the Web3. It sounds like something we all plug into, and like you said in the beginning, start to live our lives on our own pieces of art, or movies, or things on, but actively be on all the time.
Absolutely. Man.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I mean, it's like it is kind of what it is. There's a whole part of this that we could get into too, which is sort of like what's the ethics or the morals behind being part of building this, right? I kind of take the stance that it's happening no matter what, right? Like the technology is moving forward, the metaverse is on our doorstep, and we all have this incredible opportunity to be part of building it mm-hmm. and trying to build it with basically make the change that we want to see, right? That's what's so powerful and exciting. And again, one of the things that drew us with the Niftycastle in to start building in it is the potential that we can actually make some real systemic changes, because Web3 is a new paradigm, right? Like I mentioned, I called it a new creative medium, but it's really so much more than that, because when you get rid of all the centralizing, all the middlemen, all the centralizing institutional forces and all the traditional rules, and you kind of throw that out to an extent, right? Obviously it's not ever entirely, but you say, hey, we've got a chance now to build something that's fully decentralized, that's community driven, that's more equitable from the jump, that can redistribute wealth to artists and humanitarians and create generational wealth and new models and new structures. That's what's happening, right? And so, we can kind of go back and forth about like, oh, what's the moral, quandary with, trying to accelerate or help people move into this new metaverse matrix reality, or whether that's good or not. Or you can say, hey, this is probably it's probably going to happen either way. How do we try and see the change that we want to see in this new world, or architect it in better ways so that we don't just create Web 2.0 again in Web 3?
What
Yep.
what would keep? Well, I know some people are weary about that new world with the metaverse, and they're very reluctant to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're very reluctant to it, and although it sounds great, like what keeps that world from the big sharks coming in with their money and their power and taking that world over? Like, how do you keep that safe?
Yeah, I had a question where I was listening to a podcast and they said that someone bought a lot of land inside the metaverse. It was like a big company came in and they purchased a lot of land inside the metaverse. So it seems like these corporations are still trying to weasel their way into this.
Of course, right? And we're never going to be able to get away from that entirely, right? But we can at least we can force the topic and make them come and play on some of our terms instead of having to go and just exist in their world, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's the paradigm shift, right? And so to answer your question quite simply, like, what's going to stop that? Or I don't think we can stop it, but I think, back to the point, we can help rewrite the rules and hopefully actually make some real changes that we can't otherwise, right? Like, y'all may or may not have seen this. Nike actually just made a really big acquisition. They bought Artifact, which is a Web3 native studio, which is a massive acquisition. And so Nike just went in, head first, like all the way in on Web3, right?
Which I would say, people seen that headline, and up until now, I didn't know what that meant, because I didn't know. It just said they bought space they bought some licensing in the metaverse, and it didn't explain it. It didn't say anything, and nor did I know what it meant when I dug into it. So now, talking to you, I know what they just did. But go ahead. So Artifact is a really amazing, studio. They develop NFT projects and they develop a lot of metaverse, a lot of metaverse capabilities. They're definitely some key architects in the metaverse, which is why I think a lot of people see it as selling out. And to your point, there's a lot of questioning around, is this good or bad? For the metaverse and the future of Web3 and all that stuff. Adidas is also partnering with Bored Apes, Arizona Ice Tea and all these people. I think Visa bought a CryptoPunk. So they're coming. Yeah, I've seen the Adidas Ape. I've seen that.
It's happening no matter what, right? I think it's up to us, though, again, to try and create the change that we want to see. And so to me, again, there's an opportunity now for us to be getting in, learning, and building as quickly as we can, so that, again, it doesn't just end up being the same Web 2.0 in the metaverse, right? I think one of the biggest challenges that we're definitely facing is Facebook, because they renamed themselves as Meta. And they already own Oculus, and they have a massive, distribution channel. And so, like, Facebook is already setting up to try and own the metaverse, or at least a big part of it.
See, that's what I was saying. I thought they created the metaverse.
Yeah,
I thought they did too.
We didn't know that.
No. So the metaverse, again,
that motherfucker Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg, anybody.
Motherfucker, man.
He's been stealing shit since been stealing shit.
Hey, man,
motherfucker face look like it just got steel on it. Like, it's mine.
So we got to hold these people accountable, because he could totally zuck everything up, and we don't
suck it up.
But that is going to be, like, to me, one of the biggest challenges. So he didn't create the metaverse. Again, if we take a step back, like, what is the metaverse? It is actually, like, it's an idea, and it's a time, it's a singularity when our digital lives become more valuable than our physical lives. So nobody owns the metaverse. There's a bunch of different virtual worlds that are called metaverses that are all being developed right now, but all of them together are just participating in this bigger idea of the metaverse. And so, like, in the future, like, if I'm looking at what are the things that are going to be successful, and where do I want to be investing or thinking about, interoperability is going to be key, right? And interoperability just means it's the opposite of being just siloed off in your own little walled garden. It's how do I play together with the rest of the metaverse? How do I integrate with all the different apps and all the other virtual worlds, right? So, hopefully, Facebook and Meta are going to be finding ways to be interoperable and support other communities as well. But it's up to us to be watching and paying attention and trying to, support the good things and not support the bad things. But no, Facebook does not own the metaverse. The metaverse is an idea, and and many of us in the community are going to be doing our best to build outside of their walled garden or outside of the Facebook ecosystem, because we can look at what they've done in Web 2, and I would argue that they haven't handled their power very responsibly.
Rich, this is James the Jellyfish. I'm kind of the conspiracist of the show. So like I'm honestly confused as fuck, because it's like I hear the metaverse. It from what I'm hearing, it's supposed to be like a virtual space, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, well, I think again, it's like the term metaverse is used to describe these virtual worlds,
right?
And so right now there are more than a handful, but I'll name like a few of the, again, like kind of quote unquote metaverses that exist right now, right? So there's the Sandbox, which Snoop Dogg is in, and Artifact is definitely big in there, and Nike and Adidas and Bored Apes. So the Sandbox is a virtual, it looks very much like kind of like a Minecraft 2.0, except that it's built on the blockchain.
Yeah, I actually seen that today. What you're mentioning.
Yep.
Now I know what it is. Okay.
Yep. So that's an example of a metaverse, a virtual world. There's Decentralized. There's Crypto Voxels. So there's a few already that are doing pretty well, and then there's quite a lot of others that are being developed as well. Like one of our friends is basically shoestringing, developing their own metaverse from an NFT project called New Pangea. So it's called Frogland.io, and they launched a generative NFT project of 10,000 notorious frogs. And for each frog that you own, you get a plot of land in their metaverse that they're developing with some game publishers. So it's like there's all these different virtual worlds. And then, you get into gaming. Like there's a bunch of gaming developers and different companies popping up that are developing their own virtual worlds for their NFTs and their games as well, right?
Yeah. I was thinking about, like when I was in 6th grade, I used to play The Sims. It kind of reminds me of like The Sims, living in that world of The Sims, or maybe Animal Crossing, something similar to that. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, those are great examples of what some of these things could look like, but also, there's a lot of different ways that it can go, right? You can also do fully immersive VR. You know what I mean? So instead of it just being more of like a cute little third person video game, that's pixelized or, pixelated, you could go first person, fully immersive, full VR. Into certain virtual worlds as well.
Ready Player One. Ready Player One.
I mean, and we're still like these things are happening now, but we're still a long way from them being again like kind of as like Ready Player One level, right? Like we're not to Ready Player One level yet. It's going to take a while, but that's what's being built right now, right? So the technology has a long way to go, but it's actively being worked on by all the smartest people in the world, right? All together.
So we're still in the infancy stages. This is still like a little baby, and we're 20, 30 years from now, we could be looking at something similar to Ready Player One. Yeah,
exactly, right? It is still very early. But I definitely, I applaud y'all and I give y'all a lot of respect and love for having me on and wanting to have these conversations and being curious about it and helping your audience, start to learn a little bit more about it, because I do think it's incredibly important for everybody to start to get, as literate as they can on things like what is Web3, what is a blockchain, why do NFTs matter, what are the different utilities, all these things, because again, I at least am an NFT maxi in that, like, I believe I think everything's going to be on the blockchain. I think everything's going to be an NFT. I think your house, your car, medical records. I think, yeah, man, I just think like, yeah, because then there's DAOs too, which DAOs are a whole other thing that we can get into. But DAOs are basically decentralized autonomous organizations, which are a new business structure that are decentralized. And so I think that DAOs are also going to become an important part of our day-to-day life over the next couple of years. And so, yeah, man, I just think it's important that even though we're still early, that people start to educate themselves, because there is a big opportunity, again, to get involved and help build the metaverse, help build Web3. But we need good people with good intentions who understand it to get involved and care.
I got one more question on the metaverse in general, and then I want to get into these Deebies because I'm trying to own one. But you just mentioned the exchange of like medical records and things like that, important documents on the blockchain or on Ethereum or what have you. And I was early into the blockchain technology myself. You know what I'm saying? I was heavy on it. I looked at mad YouTube videos on it. And I did truly, and I still do truly believe like that is the safest way to exchange, whether it be currency or information, because it's decentralized. But what I did notice when I started off in the space, and just me being a realist, the U.S. government in the world that we live in, until they can figure out what it is and they can regulate it, it doesn't get, you know, that's what keeps those type of things in limbo. So I'm trying to imagine, this is a space I could see them trying to regulate. How do you join the government and help them get things regulated, or how do you push it forward? Is it the people that's gonna keep pushing it forward without the government? Because I seen it with Bitcoin. You know, one of the things stopping Bitcoin is they want to regulate it, and Bitcoin doesn't want to be regulated. And so, you know, and then I seen it with XRP. They were moving towards, I think, Western Union and being more centralized, like you talked about before. So what is going to keep this space, or what is going to push this space forward and keep the U.S. government or China's government or whatever government out of it?
Yeah, so I'm no foreign relations expert or or regulatory authority expert, but I, again, just being somebody who's been pretty involved in the space now for a couple of years, and obviously it's a big part of my life now and my business. I've been paying pretty close attention. So look, nobody really wants to be regulated per se. However, it's important that the government does set some guide rules and boundaries so that it can operate within the structures of traditional business and all these other things, because that is going to be what pushes it forward. Is that the government needs to set some ground rules for things like stable coins, because at that point there's nothing stopping all businesses and everything moving onto the blockchain, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is stuff that's been in the works. The government has been looking closely at it, trying to figure it out. And so I take the stance right now that I obviously hope that they're not going to over-regulate and try and kill all this innovation that's happening, but I'm excited for them to at least start to introduce, whatever regulations are going to come and get it sorted out, because you're right. One of the things standing in the way of things taking off to kind of the next level right now is that everybody, like, there isn't any current like laws or regulations in place for any of it, right? But the government is coming with that, right? It's happening. It's coming. They're working on it. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to, they're going to have some big announcements in 2022, possibly early in the year, especially, again, hopefully about things like stable coins, and that is going to unleash a whole nother, round of onboarding, because once they establish kind of the ground rules and they say, okay, this is something that we acknowledge, and now we're offering the rules for how you as a business can actually operate legally within these frameworks, like that's going to be massive, right? So I look at it in terms of like it's coming, and it's going to be good to have some of that stuff figured out. because again, then it just opens up the doors for everybody else that's sitting on the fence saying like, oh, well, it's the Wild West. There's no clear regulation, and that's too risky and dangerous. So a little bit of regulation and at least having some guidelines in place is a good thing, and it's going to be necessary to keep growing that. And I'll speculate a little bit more too. I mean, that's already speculating a little bit, but here's an interesting thought that, I've heard some people talking about, and that's that China, because you also brought them up, China has actually really taken a very strong stance on crypto. And I believe part of the reason why is because some of its citizens were amassing so much wealth that they could like theoretically challenge the government, right? And obviously they're an authoritarian state, so that's not good. So the Chinese government came in and they basically shut down, all the mining and took a very, very hard stance, against cryptocurrency. Now, what this does for us is it presents a massive opportunity, right? Because if China was the hub for crypto, it was the world's biggest crypto market. All the mining was there. A lot of the innovation was all happening there.
The Binance,
the fact that
Binance was over there at that point. Yeah.
Yep. And so that offers a massive opportunity for the West and for the United States. So the way that I look at it is that all of the biggest, there's so much innovation, so much money, so much opportunity in the crypto and blockchain space. It would be foolish, absolutely foolish, in my opinion, for the U.S. government to overregulate it, because the U.S. is now set to be the hub for all of that innovation.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yes.
So again, if you look at the really big picture about, global powers and all this stuff, again, I'm no expert on foreign policy, but I can tell you that if you're concerned about China and you're trying to compete with China as a global power, then in my opinion, the smartest thing you could do is figure out, how do we become the hub for all this innovation, all this money, and all this business that's happening. So I'm hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic, if you will, that the U.S. government will not overregulate it to death.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, with the time we got left, man, let's get into the Niftycastle some more. Let's get into the Deebies. I've been checking them out. I've been looking. I actually seen the artists who created them. Let's I guess explain the Deebies, the Niftycastle, where the idea for the Demon Heads come from. How can people go about getting one? How do we get involved in this project? Let's get back to that.
Yeah, man. And I want to maybe take a step back and answer one of your initial questions, just about how to get NFTs or how to kind of get involved. Whenever I'm on onboarding people to who are interested in buying NFTs or crypto, what I always tell them is get a Coinbase wallet and then get a MetaMask wallet. It's just two things. All you need is a Coinbase, which is your crypto. That's your crypto marketplace where you can buy and trade different cryptocurrencies, and then your MetaMask wallet. It's one of the most widely used and best Web 3.0 browsers and Ethereum wallets, right? So, to interact with all these NFTs, all these decentralized apps, right? Like we said, these NFT projects are basically apps in Web 3, right? That's what they are. They're decentralized apps. To interact with them, you need a Web 3.0 browser. And so that's basically what MetaMask is. And it's an Ethereum wallet, so you can store coins and your NFT tokens and things like that in your MetaMask wallet. So that's what I recommend to everybody who's new, is just especially if you're in the US, because I don't think Coinbase is the market app for some other countries, but in the US, get a Coinbase wallet and then get a MetaMask wallet, and that's all you need. Okay. So yeah, man, I'd love to share more about Deebies. So again, we started Niftycastle as an artist, a community of artists, just supporting other artists and, trying to collaborate with artists that we loved, that we thought were talented, that needed more of a spotlight on them. And, through that process and building our community, we discovered this incredibly talented illustrator. I'm absolutely convinced he's a creative genius. His name's Sketchnate. and
been
he's
on his
actually
Instagram.
yeah,
been on his
definitely
Instagram.
check out
He's dope.
yeah, man, check out Instagram.com/sketchnate. He posts a lot of dope content there. And yeah, man, that Instagram is literally what convinced me, is that he came into one of our early clubhouse rooms in the Niftycastle where we were playing a game called Take the Throne, and he's a really shy guy. Like he's not very outspoken, you know?
Yeah.
But when I went and I tapped in and I scrolled through his Instagram, like, again, this was months ago now, like maybe 6, 7, 8 months ago now, I immediately knew like he just had it. Like he was so talented. And it wasn't just because the art was dope. It's because he also has the voice, like his humor. Like if you read some of the captions with his characters and stuff like that, he just has the whole package. And so I just knew immediately. It was like, dude, this guy's talented. Nobody knows who he is. He's freaking brilliant. And so I started hitting him up. I was like, I just want to be your friend, you know. Got in a call with him, told him that I believed, you know, I just told him that I believed in him, you know. And so when he dropped his first NFT, which people call it a Genesis piece, right? Your Genesis piece is usually just your first thing that you mint as an NFT. So when he minted his Genesis piece, he sent me like a little DM just being like, LOL, I minted a thing, like, you know, whatever. And I went and I swooped it up. Like I went and I bought it immediately. It didn't matter what it was. It was a silly little GIF and I like way overpaid for it probably. It doesn't matter though, because I believed in this dude. I think he's so talented. And so I bought his first NFT. And he later told me, you know, that nobody had ever valued his art that way. Like nobody had ever paid him that much for his art. Yeah. And so it made an impact on him. And then, you know, a couple weeks later, he came and he pitched us this idea, which was Deebies. At the time he had a little pitch deck and he had about 60 different traits together. And he was saying, you know, I think I could make maybe like 100 or a couple hundred of these characters. And we were like, nah, man, this is bigger than that. Like, let's partner. And so we partnered with him. And over the course of about 4 months, we developed Deebies into what it became and what it is now, which is 3,053 cute as heck little demon babies that live on the Ethereum blockchain. And it's the first ever generative project of its scale that is entirely handmade. And so what that means is that for these larger NFT projects that have thousands of unique, you know, one of ones in them, you know, so there's like a lot of 10,000s, like the Crypto Punks and the Bored Apes. And there's a lot with, you know, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 unique one of one NFT characters in them. Mm-hmm. They're called generative art projects because you're usually using some kind of program or algorithm or, you know, distribution, you know, whatever it is. You're basically creating some kind of randomized program of these traits. And so it generates all these different trait combinations for you. And then they use a pipeline program that basically spits out the art, right? So they put in the inputs, they put in the layers, and they put in like, here's the directions, the percentages. And then the pipeline program runs it all through it, and it spits out 10,000 different, you know, JPEGs or PNGs.
So a program spit out all of those DBs.
Yep. So they just put in the inputs, they put in the layers, and they tell it what to do, and then it creates the art for them. We didn't have a pipeline program when we were making this, right? So we made over 9,000 pieces of DB's art by like manually, right? So which is an insane thing to do, and we'll never do that again, just because of
that makes it
how much work it
to
was.
Me.
But so the reason it's over 9,000 is because one of the other things that makes it a unique project, and it was the first to do this, is that it's the first generative project where every single character comes with 3 versions. So even though there's only 3,053 different characters, every single character has 3 versions. So there's the DB, which is like the OG original character. Mm-hmm. Then there's a Winky version of each DB. And then there's an X-ray skull version of each DB. So altogether, it's like, you know, almost 9,200 pieces of art that we made manually. And so, yeah, man, it's been going incredibly well. We recently surpassed, you know, over 1,000 unique collectors, over $1 million total revenue on the project. Sketchnate was able to quit his job as soon as it launched and pursue his art full time, which to me is like the biggest thing in the world. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's dope.
Yeah,
That's dope.
man. Yeah, man. It's huge. Like, yeah, because he's just a dope dude, and like one of my missions in life is that everybody knows Sketchnate's name and knows what a genius he is, because I just think he's so talented, man. And so the fact that his life has been changed, and he's now able to pursue his art and his passion full time is amazing. And so yeah, Deebies is about 90% sold out right now. There's still about 300, I think, left or so that can be minted at Niftycastle.io. But you can also pick them up at a discount on the secondary market on OpenSea right now, because until they're 100% sold out, the secondary market doesn't really pick up as much. So, there's some
of them have. Some of them have. I looked.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there have been some that have sold for a fair amount, but there are some below mint price, again, just for anybody who's just trying to get in and wants to get into a really amazing project and community at a discount. There are some below mint price on OpenSea right now. But yeah, our goal right now is to sell them all out by Christmas. And then, we're developing the expansion to the whole world. So Deebies come from a planet in Terabang, which is, Sketchnate has a whole world in his mind called Interrobang, where all these creatures and characters live and come from. Mm-hmm. And so we're actually in development on the next project with him called Witchy GFs or Witchy Girlfriends. Okay. And so that's an expansion on the world of Deebies, on the world of Sketchnate, that will build a lot of utilities for the Deebies holders into it. And we're aiming to launch that in February. But there's more info about that at Niftycastle.io. On the Witchy GF page. And yeah, man, if you got any other questions, I'm happy to answer. But y'all have been super, super awesome, man. And I really, really appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah.
I do got
one question too. So doing the research for this, I saw a CryptoPunk sold for like $7.5 million. Why does someone pay $7.5 million for that? It looked like it was like a little monkey.
Yeah. And I don't even think that that's the most expensive one that's sold, to be honest. Here's the thing. So CryptoPunks is like a whole deep thing that we could go into on its own, but there's a reason why CryptoPunks specifically are worth so much. And it's not because of the artwork. Most of the people that buy them and pay millions of dollars or have them will agree that it's not even that good of art. It's for the historical value, because they were one of the first NFTs ever, one of the first NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain, but they launched in like 2017 or something like that. And so actually it's really crazy. Like you could go down a whole rabbit hole about CryptoPunks, but one of the craziest things about them is that when they launched them, they were giving them away for free.
Wow.
So yeah. So literally, if you were smart enough to see the future and get in and like grab yourself some free CryptoPunks in 2017, 3-4 years later, you'd be a multimillionaire just from owning these little pixelated JPEG characters, So yeah, it's one of the things that people value in the blockchain space is being the first, and that's why I talk about Deebies the way that I do, is that we're the first to do a lot of things. We're actually the first project. Deebies is the first NFT project to sponsor a skate team. Also,
I seen that. I seen that.
Yeah. So we actually just signed the second skater. His name is Bobby Snowden. Super talented upcoming skater. The first one is Santana Saldana. So we now have the Deebies skate team, and it's the first NFT project to ever sponsor skaters like that, upcoming skaters. And it's also the first to ever have unique descriptions. So if you go check out Deebies and you look in the description, every single one has a little short, sentence or two story, and they're different for every single one of them. No other generative project had did that, right? And it comes down to the innovation factor, right? People value innovation in the space because it's so technology driven. So when you're the first to do something big, like people really value that. And CryptoPunks was one of the first to do NFTs and do a big, I think they were the first to do a big 10,000 generative project, which is now like one of the models, that everybody's trying to replicate.
I had a question at the end of what you said before Johnny had a question.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Jay-Z got a CryptoPunk. Jay-Z got a CryptoPunk.
Oh, he does.
I saw Gary Vee had like
Hell
59 crypto punks.
Oh my gosh, Gary Vee got in early, and he knew. And also he had the money to like buy him. He didn't get in 2017, but I think he got in like 2020, and he saw what was coming, and he had some money to pick him up. He was probably buying him for like $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 or something. Yeah, and they're all worth multiple millions of dollars now. So yeah. He's doing all right.
Oh, I'm hoping the Deebies turn into this.
Now, can we use are the Deebies usable on the Web3? Are we taking them into the? Are we building Nate's world in the metaverse? Are they staying as this NFT art project that they are like? Are they transferable? Are we transferring this to the metaverse? What are we doing here?
Well, they already live in Web3, right? Okay. So by nature of them being NFTs that live on the Ethereum blockchain, like they are a DApp or a decentralized app that lives in Web3, right? So when they're all minted, like we're gonna move all the metadata into like IPFS or decentralized servers so that it all lives on the blockchain theoretically forever. But then we're developing all kinds of cool things, and one of the goals again of the Niftycastle is to be a destination in the metaverse where you can go experience all this stuff. So right now we're doing a lot of different kinds of artist collaborations. We're doing a lot of different virtual events, but we're definitely working on developing experiences in the metaverse, and the Deebies are going to be a big part of that, because the Deebies they're basically like the base token for the Niftycastle, right? Like the first 1,000 collectors that we have of Deebies, they're like everything to us, right? The community is everything, and those are our biggest fans right there, right? They're like our initial believers. Those are the first people to be part of this thing with us. And so everything that we're going to be doing in the future with the Niftycastle, we're going to be looking for ways to drive value back to the Deebies. And so, obviously anything that we're going to be building into the metaverse is going to be, have a lot of Deebies involved for sure.
Dope.
Cool. I guess we'll wrap up with, how can, you've said it plenty of times, but just one more time for everybody, how can they find you? How can they see Sketch Nate's artwork? Hold on. Do you got any questions? My fault, James. You sure?
I mean,
I'm here for it. Hey, if y'all got them, man, I'm here for it.
It's such a positive conversation. I don't want to. Negative it up.
Man, listen, I look forward to meeting us as a crew. Hopefully, meeting you in person. Because I would love for you to meet James in person. I don't think you have anything negative to say. I just think you want to get your conspiracies off. I think he would be the perfect guy to talk to for you. So, because he can break it down for you better.
Right. We probably had to do it off camera.
But
yeah, man. Well, I will say this, especially because I think, I'm guessing that your audience is a lot of people that might be, maybe a little bit newer, to Web3 and all this. And that's why we're kind of talking about a lot of this stuff. You do have to be very careful, right? So it's not all roses and it's not all perfect. Like there's a lot of scammers. There's a lot of people that will take advantage of you. And so that's why education and having these conversations and asking questions is so important. But never give out your seed phrase. Let's say that.
Oh yeah.
Always protect your seed phrase. Those are your passwords. Anybody that asks you for your seed phrase, tell them to F off.
I forgot my seed phrase.
Write down your seed phrase. Never
down.
ever give out your seed phrase, and be very careful of any malicious links. Don't once you're in Web3 and you're in crypto, don't click on any malicious links, because they can be. Yeah, they can get into your stuff maybe, and that's no good. I've had quite a few friends that have been hacked that have lost all their NFTs and their crypto because they clicked on the wrong links and stuff.
No.
Yeah, man. So there's
more dangerous because you lost. My bad. Go ahead.
Well, there's real conspiracies. Like Elon Musk's Twitter got hacked, and they sent out a tweet saying, "Hey, send me 1 ETH, 1 Ethereum, and I'll send you 3 Ethereum through Elon Musk's like legit Twitter." And I had at least one friend that got scammed doing that, right? So it's like there are real conspiracies and real things to watch out for sure. And so you just got to be careful. And man, protect your energy, protect your seed phrase.
All right. Well, one more time. What can they find you, Rich? What can they find Sketch Nate? And the website and if something y'all want to get into, please get on their website. I've been on there. It's got a lot of information on there. It's a dope ass project. But where can they find it? Tell them where you at.
Yeah, man. Niftycastle.io that's the hub. That's the spot for everything that we're building. Niftycastle on Twitter, but I'm Gifdead across everything. If you want to connect with me personally, GIFDEAD on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. But yeah, man, Niftycastle.io, that's where it's at. And yeah, man, y'all been delightful, and maybe we can do it again. But I really appreciate y'all, and again, I believe in what y'all are building here too. So thanks.
Say, man, thanks for coming on. Thanks for breaking all of that down. Like yeah, it's a little bit more clear for me.
I am a lot less confused now. So
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Again, I'm happy to do a round two if y'all want. Just let me know.
I would definitely let you know, man. Looking forward to talking to you soon, man. Thank you for your time.
All right, later, y'all.
All right, man.
Rich.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
So we did it, man.
There was a lot of technical terms there. Use
Right.
Google. You niggas like to use Google when you fighting and arguing with your friends.
Right.
Use
Time to Google.
Google.
For sure.
How you guys feel, man? Y'all feel like y'all know a little something more?
I actually do. But
Me
I
too.
was already immersed in the space. So there's a lot of things he said that I understood.
I was a little confused about things, and I think he cleared some of that stuff up for me, which is good. I'm definitely have to talk to him again. But I feel confident getting an NFT now because I remember I had a chance to get one earlier this year, and I was like, why the fuck am I buying this? Only because I've heard Gary Vee talk about it. But now I understand a little bit more about it.
When rich people speak, man, it's like, gotta listen.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. Gary Vee did like a 50-minute podcast about it, and I'm like, he was talking about Topps trading cards, NFTs, and
that's
things
how
like
it was
that.
broken down to me originally.
And I was like, And then I saw this page I followed, 90s Kids Only. They were launching their first set of NFTs. And I was like, well, maybe I can get one for the low real quick. But I'm like, well, how would I sell it? Who would even want this?
You gotta look at it like I'm gonna put money here and then forget the money.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an investment.
Really like buying a piece of artwork and, later down the line selling it. Or you just own the rights to it.
Yeah.
Like you can buy, like if I put out a song that's not NFT the song, someone can own that song and they basically got the rights to that song.
Yeah.
So anytime somebody wants to use it, they have to pay them for the song.
Yep.
I believe.
That's
think
I'm trying to
that.
what it sound
I'm
like.
about to
Damn,
NFT.
that was a good question.
Yeah, I'm about to
think
NFT
my,
my shit. My gray sweatpants and do-rag when I drop
mean,
that.
you should. And the lyrics.
Yeah, and the lyrics.
JPEG.
And the video.
I think my girl will probably be very interested in this because she an artist herself.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it might be something she interested in. But I'm still confused as fuck.
I mean, yeah, you got the right to be for sure.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
a lot to learn.
It's a lot.
But you're also new in the crypto space. Like this is
Yeah.
a part of the crypto space. So as you keep digging into what crypto is,
Yeah.
all of those terms that he used, like blockchain, smart contracts, those things are gonna become clear to you. That's why I said, although that's why I'm urging the listeners to kind of Google some of this while he was talking, run it back, Google some of this, pause it. Google some of this and get a quick breakdown of what they are because when you talk to people in that space, they're gonna use a lot of technical terms, and that's in all computer
Right.
space. Computer space is just full of technical terms.
Right.
Where we talking crypto.
Anytime you talk to somebody that's in any type of space and they start using those technical terms, because he was saying some stuff, I'm like, nerd. But we all nerds in some sort. Like, you were nerd when it comes to this editing and shit.
Yeah, I'm a nerd when it comes.
And I'm a nerd when it comes to, like, fighting and UFC and shit.
And then James, you're a comic book nerd. So, I mean, you're going to use, he's going to use terms that you guys are not going to understand.
James, you are a comic book
so
nerd.
please Google that stuff.
Like
you know all the characters.
Because it's important.
I do.
But I mean, with me having previous information, his like knowledge really opened me up. Now, like all the words make sense that I knew. So
Yeah.
I get what it is. Now
That's
I'm
what you need to
super
do. You
interested.
research, and then you talk to somebody that's in it, and then it starts connecting.
Yeah,
all that
start
stuff
right
you're
there.
reading and things like that start connecting.
Yeah, that's Niftycastle. That's the Niftycastle.
But I definitely, I don't know what I'm going to get, but I do want to get into the NFT space. I've been putting a little bit of money here and there into crypto, $15 a check, you know what I'm saying? Slowly but surely getting up there. But yeah, I do kind of want to, get me an NFT. I don't know what it's going to be.
I seen
Be successful so I can rob your ass.
the DB I want got an afro.
Oh, you want the Afro DB?
You seen it?
Nah, I
The
hadn't
black
seen
one?
it. The
With the black-
cultural appropriation DB.
Well, apparently an algorithm spit these out.
Yeah, so it's not.
Yeah, so nobody intended to appropriate, which is dope. Like now that I know that, that's fucking dope.
Nah, that is pretty cool, man. But yeah, you should get one, man. He said you can get it for the low on
Right now?
OpenSea.
It's only what 10% left.
Yeah. I was looking at
Ain't
their
many.
goals. Yeah, they were hitting their goals, and then he said they got another project coming out in February, so you can jump on that.
I'm ready to see what else they do, man.
Right.
Like, this is dope. This is truly dope. I'm gonna get myself in this space just like I got into the crypto space, because, like he said, this is where we're going. Whether you
you're
like
not
it or
lying.
not, this is where we're going. Get educated on it. Learn about it now. That way, when it comes, you already have your foot down in the space. Because one thing about this world in capitalism, like we were just born into it, and it's been going on for so long, and now we're like, we had to learn how to navigate and how to make money, and we're still learning that stuff. And you got guys that's been on the stock market since Wall Street first opened. These rich billionaires just sucking this dry.
Old money.
So
Yeah.
if you want to get ahead in this,
I remember
what's coming, this is it.
when I was working in the bank, and this kid came in there telling me about Bitcoin. This was like 2012. I don't even know what the price of Bitcoin was in 2012, but I thought the kid was crazy. And his mom was like, he just needs a bank account. And I'm like, all right. He's trying to tell me about crypto and Bitcoin. And I'm like, that shit sounds stupid. And now look at it.
Once you break it down,
$50,000 later.
decentralized
That little nigga
currency,
probably rich as hell.
Yeah.
He probably got Bitcoin for $5.
decentralization is the future. That's what I would say.
Nah, I can see that, especially with
the
people losing trust in government and values of money starting to decline.
And the craziest thing is, we hate it, but COVID sped it the fuck up.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
was like, hey,
Oh yeah.
sped it right on up. But all right, man. That was the show. Y'all know what to do. Y'all know where to subscribe, man. Y'all know where to find Rich. Niftycastle.io. Y'all know where to find us. Everything. kickingshitpod.com. Go there if you want to see us. If you want to follow anybody on the show, our Instagram is there. You can subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube on kickingshitpod.com. If you old school, you can still get on any digital streaming platform and search KSP. And on YouTube, it's KSP TV. But kickingshitpod.com, that's where everything is. You go there, you can write us, you can talk to us. We're going to get the fuck out of here.
Right,
Listen,
straight
man.
up, man.
I got to put it back on.
Get your NFT. Nah, go do some research first.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Then get your
Fuck
NFT.
around,
Listen to
get
this.
hacked.
Do your research, then go back and listen to the interview.
What's
Yeah,
the
that was a cool
password
ass
called?
interview, man. He definitely dropped some jewels and gems on that, and I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah. Hey, man, shout out to him. I didn't give him a hand clap. Man, shout out to
man.
Rich.
Shout out to Rich,
Thank
man.
you, my brother.
I need to follow all that stuff.
Probably
on there.
rich.
He will be.
I ain't gonna count
He
his
will be.
paper. I ain't gonna count his paper.
But I ain't counting his pockets.
Shit, I count 'em.
All right, man. Listen, happy 2022. Thank
Right.
you for joining us for the first Monday of the year. Listen, I want y'all to love the life you live and the people in it. Find the positive in every situation and live in the moment because this life is not forever. I'm Jumpman Jones. I'm signing off for Jukebox Johnny and James D. Jellyfish. We would talk to you niggas
See ya.
next week.
You need to NFT a joke.
Me?
NFT one joke.
I bet you somehow that's
Fuck it, I won $1 billion.
become prevalent.
Jeff Coon balloons, I
Yeah.
just won blow up. Condos and my condos, I want to roll up.
Daddy, are you on the radio?